The air buzzed with the frantic energy of travelers at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Suitcases rumbled across the polished floors. Announcements echoed through the terminal, a constant reminder of departures and arrivals. Among the throng of passengers, a K-9 unit patrolled with a keen sense of purpose. Officer Davis and his partner, a German Shepherd named Max, moved with practiced ease through the crowded baggage claim area. Max, with his sharp senses and rigorous training, was the first line of defense against the silent threat of drug trafficking. His nose twitched, sampling the air for the slightest hint of contraband. Officer Davis kept a watchful eye on Max, his hand resting lightly on the dog's harness. He knew the subtle signs, the pricked ears, the focused stare, the slight whine that betrayed Max's excitement. They had patrolled this terminal countless times, but today felt different. The air itself seemed thick with anticipation. Max paused abruptly, his body stiffening as he zeroed in on a nondescript black suitcase on the carousel. Officer Davis felt a surge of adrenaline. Max had never steered him wrong. He scanned the luggage tag, noting the destination, Ontario, California. It was a known hub for drug trafficking, and Officer Davis's instincts screamed at him that they were onto something big. Max whined again, pawing at the suitcase. His entire body was taut with focus, his eyes glued to the prize. This was it. Officer Davis knew the drill. He calmly signaled to a nearby officer, who quickly moved to secure the area around the carousel. Passengers, initially oblivious, began to notice the commotion and murmured amongst themselves. "Just a routine security check, folks," Officer Davis announced, his voice calm and reassuring despite the pounding in his chest. "Please move along." He snapped his fingers, directing Max to sit patiently by the suitcase. The dog obeyed, but his intense gaze never left the luggage. It was like he could see through the hard shell, his senses overwhelmed by the scent of whatever lay hidden inside. Officer Davis, using a handheld radio, contacted the ATL Drug Interdiction Unit. They had been working closely with Homeland Security on a tip about a major drug shipment coming through Atlanta. Could this be it? The officer on the other end of the radio confirmed their suspicions. They had been monitoring this particular flight. The suitcase belonged to a passenger who fit the description they had been given. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the drug interdiction unit arrived. Time seemed to slow to a crawl as they approached the suitcase, their faces grim. Using a special key, they carefully opened the luggage. Inside, neatly packed amongst innocuous clothing, lay a chilling sight. Vacuum-sealed bags, stuffed full of a white crystalline powder, were stacked tightly together. It was a massive amount of methamphetamine, enough to ruin countless lives. But that wasn't all. Nestled amongst the meth were smaller packages, these filled with a fine off-white powder, fentanyl, the deadly synthetic opioid, potent enough to kill with just a tiny dose. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. This was a significant bust, even for a hub like Atlanta. The weight of the drugs was staggering. 35.8 pounds of methamphetamine and 4.6 pounds of fentanyl. A collective gasp rippled through the small group of law enforcement officers gathered around the open suitcase. They had intercepted a deadly shipment, a victory against the insidious creep of narcotics into their city, but the fight was far from over. They had the drugs, but the trafficker was still out there. The Drug Interdiction Unit, working in tandem with Homeland Security, sprung into action. They had to move quickly and discreetly. The suspect, unaware that his bag had betrayed him, was likely already searching for his luggage. Plainclothes officers fanned out through the baggage claim area, their eyes scanning the crowd for their target. The suspect, a man traveling alone, finally approached the carousel. He was sweating, his eyes darting nervously around the terminal. He spotted his black suitcase, or rather, where it should have been. Panic flickered across his face as he realized it was gone. Before he could react, officers moved in, surrounding him in a carefully orchestrated maneuver. The arrest was swift and silent. The suspect was whisked away before most travelers even realized what was happening. His identity was kept confidential. As the investigation was ongoing, Homeland Security was leading the charge, determined to unravel the network behind this operation. This bust was just the tip of the iceberg.